crazy times. The world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Your Heroes of Noise. I'm one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Steve.
Well, hello, everyone. Happy Independence Day. How's it going? You're going to get the slow side of me today because I've been up all night, but welcome to the show, episode 164. How the hell are you?
I mean, you sound energetic. I'm sorry, but this isn't the normal Dan tired sound.
Oh, I just been up all night, dude. I was cooking for 4th of July.
What did you cook? Give us a menu.
I smoked a pork shoulder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, got a little 10-pound butt. I don't know why they call them butts. They call pork shoulders butts, I'm not sure why.
That is very strange.
Be that as it may, I got a 10-pound one. And let me tell you what I did with this bad boy, right?
Go for it.
I rubbed this bad boy down 2 nights ago, and it's just been sitting, just ready, just doing its thing, sweating it out, dry brining and all that stuff. You know, I know how you love the pork, Steve. So, you know, I got that part going, but you got to do this, Steve. I don't know if you're aware of this. You have to actually slather it with mustard prior to putting your rub
I
on.
did not know that.
Yeah, it's just an adhesive. It's a bonding agent.
Okay.
It doesn't taste or anything like that. So if anyone was like, mustard, you can't taste it. It just makes everything a little bit better. You know what I mean?
That sounds wonderful.
It's got to sound gross to you, though, right? Like you don't.
No, it's not gross. Not at all. Not at all. I know that it tastes good. Like when I know it tastes amazing.
It's just that all that guilt when you bite into it, huh?
Could not deal with that.
Yeah, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'm like one of those things called on Tomorrow War? I'm like a freaking white spike. That's what I am. Everything's food.
Everything is food, huh?
Everything is food. Everything.
Do you eat? Okay, I didn't know you ate
humans.
chitlins.
You know, little children, which are humans too, just smaller versions. They're like snack-size humans. You know,
this dude will eat anything, and
I'll
so
eat
you
anything.
don't. I think you
I'll
taste.
eat a pig's ass if you cook it right.
I see that, but I would imagine that you do taste the mustard. If it was not there, you'd be like, something's missing.
No, you really can't taste it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's just a bonding agent. That's all it is, and then it just cooks off. Same thing. The little known fact, probably to you, Steve, is that when you go to In-N-Out Burger, they slather their buns with mustard before they fry them up.
I'm about to.
Or not their buns. I'm sorry, their patties. I'm really tired, folks. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to be messing up a lot today.
I've never been to In-N-Out.
You've never had like their French fries or anything?
Oh no! Someone gave me their French fries. They're like, at least taste the French fries, and they were so trash, I never went again.
A lot of people say that, but I kind of like the fries.
Do they taste like straight up potatoes, Jay?
That's what they are, though. Steve.
I know, but
like
that's
if you go to McDonald's,
yes,
but why don't those things break down?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
If I'm going to
for someone that is very concerned for what you put in your body, I think that it should matter to you why.
I'm really not concerned. I was telling someone this recently. I was like, he's like, you're very healthy. I'm like, no. If they figured out a way to print meat with all of the stuff that meat comes with, I'd eat it.
Tastes just like meat, chews just like meat. It's just not really.
And all the cholesterol that comes with it. Yeah, I'd eat it. So that doesn't make me any better. It doesn't make me any better. It's just a living thing's rights is the only thing. That's it. Other than that, it's not like people swear that I'm healthy. I'm just not. It's just the things that I'm forced to eat happen to be healthy things.
Well, that's convenient, right?
It is sometimes. I mean, it is occasionally. Well, no. I could eat I'm not a potato chip person. I think the only thing I just love eating that's not good are peanut butter M&Ms and French fries.
What about peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Dude, if I'm in the mood for that, dude.
How often do you bust?
Spot.
You know what? I'm getting off track of my recipe here, but I'm just curious about something. How often do you eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? A PB&J once a year?
Yeah,
make it a treat. Maybe. Jesus Christ, I'm going to die so quick compared to you.
You're really not.
Let me explain what I did to this piece of meat. Okay, so like I said, it was rubbed and then it was like dry brine for 2 days.
Yeah.
Now I take it out as I'm getting the smoker up to temp. Okay, I have a little bit of what did I use yesterday? I used a little bit of hickory, a little bit of apple wood in there. Steve, get it all nice and smoky.
Nice.
And then while that's going on, I put more rub on it just to make sure I got everything I need. Okay, slap this thing on. Now here's the deal: it's a 10-pound butt. It should take approximately 90 minutes, 90 minutes to 2 hours per pound. Okay, you can look anywhere. If you're cooking it at like 275 degrees, which is what I did, it should take approximately, 2 hours per pound max. So I'm thinking I'm going to have this thing on for probably 15 hours, okay? I start this bad boy up at 9 o'clock last night. And then here's the part where I know I'm going to die before you. So it's already beautiful. It looks fantastic. It's all glazed and everything. I've been spritzing it with apple cider vinegar, so it has a good voice too. Because I've just been putting apple cider vinegar all over it and everything, right? Mm-hmm. And then I take it out. I put more. It's called Honey Hog Rub. I won't say the brand name, but it's really good. If you want to know, hit me up. I'll tell you what it is. But anyway, put that on there. Slather it all over there, and then I go a little bit of brown sugar on the top and butter.
Ooh-wee.
This is not a healthy meal that I just made, but holy shit, did it come out good.
Was it fantastic?
Wrap it up in butcher paper, you put it back on, and then you cook it to like 203. So around like 5 o'clock this morning, it was done. So what is that? What's my maths there? That's only like 6 hours, right? No.
Yeah, but you started
9, 12,
late.
9, 10, 11, 12. Let me take off my shoes real quick, Steve. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like, basically it was like 9 hours. 8.5, 9 hours.
And you stayed up, you didn't take like a nap?
Well, I fell asleep. I was up, like trying not to fall asleep. And I made the mistake of putting on Friends. And the next thing I know,
Oh, yeah, that'll put anybody to sleep.
Oh, shut up. You've never watched an episode. Stop
I'm
it.
just saying I have.
No, you haven't.
My boy is a massive fan, and he even showed me an episode I was supposed to love.
Yeah, but you're you, though. I'm not even going to get into that. Like, see, I'm not taking this bait anymore. Because there's just certain things with you that I know you just do it because you're Steve, and I believe this is one of them.
But I think that you going to sleep, it makes sense is all I'm saying.
Well, it does make sense, but I didn't want to, because, you don't want to overcook it.
Oh, you didn't have an alarm set?
I had an alarm set. I had it all set up and everything.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
But I ended up waking up a little bit late. So I pulled it. It's supposed to be at 2:02. I pulled it at like 2:06. Still beautiful.
That doesn't make a difference.
To some, I'm sure it would. To me, it mattered not.
I'm sure really to Dave Chang, he'd be like, whatever.
It was really, really good, dude. But now I'm just stuck with all this pork. And I don't know what to do with it. So,
are you going to bring it into work?
No. Who does that anymore? No one does that anymore.
A lot of people do that still, dude.
I'm not doing that shit. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah. No one wants to eat your nasty food from home.
You wouldn't eat a coworker's food from home?
Nope. I would not. I've been doing it. I've been practicing that for years. I don't do it. Go into the break room. They'll call all nice and say, hey, go into the break room. There's there's like a, I don't know, taco tray, little burritos on it or something or whatever. Somebody brought something. Nope. Because there's always that one person.
That's true.
That goes,
You're
do
right.
I want this one? No, they put it down. Nah, I don't want that.
Ew, that's true,
How about
dude.
this one? No. And then the people that have to like, instead of just going that one, they literally have to like touch it. How about that
You're
one?
right. Nope, you're right.
I hate
You're totally
people.
right.
They're disgusting.
That's gross.
Yeah,
and
so-
your break room refrigerator used to be the one with all the ice cream sandwiches in it.
They still have all the, it's usually like, sometimes it's like helados, like little Spanish ice creams.
Gee,
Not ice creams. They're more like popsicles.
Do you get
Juice
those
pops.
at least?
I don't touch any of that shit.
Holy crap, I used to go in there and raid y'all's fridge, dude.
Hey, it's still there, man. Stop by. I'm sure they have them. I just, honestly, I'm weird. I don't like break rooms and I don't like potlucks.
I've never seen you eat at work.
Well, there's a reason for it.
You do not, you don't eat. I'm saying you don't bring food to work to eat in the break room, do you?
I bring food to eat in my car.
That's what I know.
Or
What's up
in the
with that?
cafeteria.
Oh, there's a switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's a big room, And I still don't like the cafeteria, but if it's like, it's like 110 outside, I'm not going to my car to sit there, run my AC, just to listen to like, podcast or something. I'm going to stay inside.
You'll go into the cafe where everyone can pass you by like, hey, Dan, hey, Dan, hey, Dan. You're like, ugh.
Or the worst part, I'm terrible too. Like the worst part is when there's someone that you're friendly with, but you're not like cool with, right? And then they sit right next to you.
Oh, dude. Has someone done that to you?
Yeah, it happens a lot. I don't want to talk to people. Like I'm the guy, not all the time, of course, but there's just these certain times where I don't want to talk to people. Like for instance, if I'm grocery shopping and I'm on aisle 9 and I look over and Steve's coming out of like aisle 4 and I'm not in the mood to see Steve, I'm turning into aisle 10.
That makes sense. I can understand that because you're not in the talky mood.
I will even go as far as to play that shit off like, oh, I didn't see you. I was at a restaurant one time and someone, again, cool. I don't have a lot to say. I hate small talk because it's just going to be like, hey, okay, all right, bye. That's it. So, color me unfriendly, but I actually just pretended I didn't see somebody one time because I didn't. I have a feeling they did the same thing because it was just like, what else are we going to say except hi?
Not
Is it
a freaking
necessary?
thing.
I don't think
Yeah.
it is.
I will not do that. I will not. Like if I see somebody I know,
Yeah.
I initiate so that I have the determination of being like, hey, good to see you. Talk to you later. Bye. Like I hold the timekeeper. I can walk and be like, hey, John, how are you? Anyway, man, I'll holler at you. Peace. Done. There is no he controls the timekeeper.
John
I'm
standing
the timekeeper.
there going, I didn't even get a chance to.
Yeah,
tell you
done.
who I am.
We're finished. Holla.
Well, good for you. I just honestly, I don't want people to think that I'm not approachable. It's just that there are certain times where it's like I'm just not having it. That's all.
You
So
walk
it's kind of
fast.
like a crapshoot. Everyone says that. Everyone
you
says I
do.
walk fast. It's so weird though. Like I try to slow my walking down. Like I'm walking patience back or something like that. And I don't know. It's like these people are like walking through mud. I'm like trying to slow down, and I still walk really, really fast.
You walk
but I'm a
fast.
busy
You're
man. I got
fast.
places to be.
You really do. You must, because I've even seen you in the hallway. I was like, dang, that dude is trying to dip,
I have been told that many times that I walk fast.
which is fine.
It's fine. I'll take it. At least
how
I'm
does that-
walking. It's kind of like, hey, you walk fast. Yeah, but at least I'm walking.
This is very, and how does that work with, is Gail a fast walker?
No, she is the slowest walker.
That's an interesting
Known to man.
hand holding thing right there.
It is weird. I have to slow my pace down. Sometimes we're fine, but there are times where it's like, you know what it is? She's like her dad. She's very observant about things. So if we're out somewhere, I don't know. Let's just say Disneyland for the hell of it, Steve. There's lots of stuff to look at around.
Of course.
I have to be careful because I will lose her. Or I'll just be walking and I'll have my shoulder, pulled out of socket because she just stopped and she's like staring off at something like that.
Oh, you have to be, yes, I know that's a thing. I have to be way more conscious of what's happening when I'm walking and not holding hands, because I will walk and be like, wow, that's a dope store, huh, Belle? Belle? I'm like, oh, she saw something. And
She's
I didn't
gone.
know she saw that. She gone, dude. Gone. So I'm going to do what you do and be like, just be conscious about where everybody is.
It's so much easier though now. Like remember when you were young and you get lost at the store? Your life is over. Like you think your shit,
dude.
like my parents are gonna leave me.
Oh, dude.
I'm gonna die in this store because you can't text them. You can't be like, hey. Gail and I used to do a thing before we had phones where we could text. We would just be like, ooh, ooh. We just do that shit in the store
Is that true?
for sure.
You liar.
I swear to God.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
That
no,
is
I
the
mean,
most
like,
ridiculous story.
I think it was la 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 la. We do some shit like that. Not like
Holy crap.
Yeah, we did some crazy noise.
And it worked.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see real quick. I'm kind of curious. Hey, Gail. Come here for just a quick sec. I just want to see if she remembers what the sound was. Because I don't, but I swear there was a sound. Hey, remember when, before we had phones, and we would like be walking around and we'd get like separated from each other in a store?
Mm-hmm.
What did we do to find each other?
What was it? It was like a call, like a.
Yeah, it was a call, right? Yeah, there it is. See?
That is so funny.
Thank you. He just wanted to know, and I wanted to make sure I was accurate. Is all.
Accurate.
I was accurate. Sorry.
That is so funny, dude. Because I remember in the mall, you used to always hear, will the parents of John Smith please come to the...
Oh, I was John Smith. I was not having that shit. I am not getting left behind. I'd go straight to the manager, man. I was like little Karen back in the day. Can you please?
That crap works, dude. It works.
Yeah, of course.
Will
Then
the
you get
parents
now I bet you it's like, I'm John's parents. No, I'm John's parents.
Dude,
I'm his dad.
dude.
I'm his guardian.
I think that they
perverts.
just, now that everyone has a cell phone, I mean, I see kids with I see kids that are like 9 years old, they have cell phones.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's bad.
Oh,
But I'm an
I wanna-
old-fashioned guy, man, you know?
Dude, how old was Sarah when you gave her a cell phone?
I think she was 12, but I didn't give her like an iPhone or anything like that. She had like the flip.
Oh, how brutal is that?
Hey, you don't need all that.
I mean, yeah, but she gonna get, at least she had good friends that weren't like, look at this Flintstone phone having girl over here.
I don't give a shit if they said that. You don't need that. You want one? Pay for it. Oh, you can.
But she has one
Here's
now.
your flip phone. Yeah, now she's got one.
You paid for it though, didn't you?
Of course. Yeah.
Of course you did.
Hey, question for you. What do you
Yes.
think the cutoff age is for like if you have an adult child? What's the cutoff age for where like I don't have to pay for their phone anymore?
When they graduate college.
What if they're not in college
No, I would say the hypothetical graduate age. So 24.
Okay. Working full time, fully benefited.
Still 24.
24. All right. Dude's got like a year and a half
Because
left.
right now it's hard out there for a pimp.
It is.
So you got to
Trying
give
to get
him
that money for the rent.
Yes, man. You got to give him some. Right now, you got to give him some legs, man.
Now I want to watch Hustle and Flow, Steve. Thank you.
I didn't know. I was one of the few that thought that I was like, it was fine.
You gonna get me that microphone, man? You gonna get
Come
that
on,
microphone.
man.
Come on, he was great in that movie.
Gee,
With the little skinny dude.
he was fine. It was a fine movie.
Well, I love it and I cherish it.
You did
And I
not
watch
love
it
Hustle and Flow.
anytime
Lies.
that movie comes on.
Will you watch it?
Gail and I watch that shit all the time. It's not even that good. I just love it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to
I
be.
get it.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. I just love that movie. There's
Hey, what's the
certain
name of
movies
that? Oh no, her name is Taryn. That white girl in that movie.
Oh, she's a trip, man.
She seems like she'd be a trip in person. Like in
Yeah.
real life, she seems like she'd be a trip. Taryn Manning. Is it Taryn Manning?
Taryn Manning sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, dude, has she ever done a normal role?
All I think of is that one, and then Orange is the New Black.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
definitely not a normal role.
I've never seen her do a normal role.
I thought that movie was just, I don't know, something about it, dude. I think it's because it's like it's kind of like, I like watching him try and have success.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel you. I like those coming up, like that coming of age story. Or like,
Making something out of nothing.
I get that. When you put milk cartons up on I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. Or egg cartons. I was like, this is pretty cool.
I've always heard that works, but I've never wanted to try
It
that.
totally works.
That's a lot of eggs.
It's a lot of, like in the work, what you're deciding is that I will put in the same amount of work with cheaper things than I will with more expensive, because you're doing the same amount of work, dude. But you're just choosing to use egg cartons instead of the actual, expensive sound bar. That crap is expensive, G.
I just think the life hack is find a friend that works at an egg factory. You know what I mean? And then just be like, hey, dude, I'm going to be by around 5 o'clock on Wednesday. No, your boss is leaving. Let's make it 6:30. Just leave these. Put them behind the dumpster. And I'll just take like 10, 12 at a time.
Gee, I guarantee you could find, I wouldn't take no egg cartons from a garbage. You're right.
No.
No, not now. Not now.
I've been
Especially-
watching too much. Oh, God. Okay, so you got me on Hoarders, right? And I was watching, there's another thing that came out, and it's called Extreme Cheapskates. Have you ever heard of that one?
Oh, not yet. I've seen. No, I was watching Extreme, like the couponers that go way overboard. But go on.
Oh, no, there's just this lady that was digging through trash. There's a lot of people that dig through trash, and I'm not saying that there aren't things that can be salvaged in a trash can.
Of
you know what I
course.
mean? But these extreme cheapskates, they take it so far. And she was like, and they always look a little bit different. Like they're always just sort of marching to their own beat. You know
Of
what
course.
I mean? Like you can look them in the eye, but they're kind of looking through you.
Oh,
There's
yes.
this one particular lady, I don't remember her name or the episode, this Asian woman. And that was her thing. She's like, I haven't bought clothing in 12 years. I'm not hating,
Holy
but
crap.
that shit looked bad. And then what she would do is that she would get like her worst shirt, which was just completely full of holes and stuff. And she would put that on. And then she would like kind of, what do you want to call it? She would just make herself look homeless, I guess. And then she would go out and then dig in the trash cans to feel better, I guess. But she was like, oh, I'm having my friend come over that I used to work with, and I haven't seen him in a very long time, and he's bringing over his new girlfriend, so I better find something good. So she's digging in the trash can to serve.
Oh,
her
hell
guests.
no, G.
And she pulls out like a piece of cake. She's like, oh, this looks like it's a piece of red
Oy.
velvet cake. She's like, this looks, she like sniffs it, puts her nose all up on it. This seems fine. And then she grabs like a little piece of carrot cake and just all these different types of things. And then one of them was like it wasn't spam, but it was kind of in the form of spam, like just a cubed piece of something.
That is
she
so nasty.
She puts it all into this pot and just cooks it up. And to watch these people try to try to keep it cool. Like the girlfriend
she
was
tell them?
not having it. Yes.
Oh,
And she's like, this is my chair. I just found this in the, the whole thing is about her friend wanted to go to her house to see how she lives because he knows that she has like this interesting lifestyle. So he goes to the house and he brings this girl and the girl's just not having it from Like just from the moment she walks in, you can tell she's just so uncomfortable, and I can't really blame her. And the lady just keeps saying it. I think that I would be that way too. I don't feel that I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not a fancy pants. You know what I'm saying? But if I went over to your house, I know, pardon my language. If I went over to your house first time and you're just saying, here's something from the garbage, here's another thing from the garbage, but you're offering it to me, I would politely decline, but I think I would have to bounce quickly. Like I'm getting a text that you didn't hear. I'm getting a phone call that when my phone didn't ring, something, but I'm getting out. And that was just what was going on with this lady. She just wanted to get her, the girlfriend just wanted out so badly. And they were just like, well, I don't think I'll be coming back over her house again. There was another one. Oh my God. It was this black couple. And the woman was like just ran the house, right? And she was such a cheapskate that she would take syringes, you know, like you ever seen like the little
I'm already tripping.
10 milliliter syringes.
Uh-huh.
And she would this isn't even that bad, but she would ration out her laundry. And I'm thinking at first, okay, that's probably, right. That's what I said. I'm like, it's probably not enough soap, but I can appreciate that. Maybe you've got it dialed in. You know exactly how much you need, you know?
I'm in.
But then she saves the lint that comes out of the dryer to use for like putting on your makeup or cleaning off your makeup. Oh my,
why did she have to go there with it?
But okay, now let's think about this for a second, Steve. What do you think's going to be in this lint?
Crap from your dirty clothes.
Right. Or pubes. Let's just say pubes, because that's what I'm talking about. She's talking about that. She's cleaning off her face, and then she straight pulls a pube.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't like focus on it, but I'm pretty sure it was like a pube.
Dude, that is utterly disgusting.
Check this shit out. So her man, she will not let this dude take showers for any amount of time over than 2 minutes. It's like a military shower is what she was calling it. So she sets a timer. She's got a what do they call those things? A baby monitor in the bathroom. And when that timer goes off, she's like, you need to be out now. And the guy's like, okay, honey, just totally going with it. Like I feel like this dude should at least stand up for himself somewhat, right?
Of course.
And then he wants to have his friends come over for a football game. And she's not having it, right? She's just like, no.
She ain't trying to get that foosball.
Yeah, she's not trying to have the company because it's extra energy, extra food, everything. So she makes these people watch the football game in the dark, right? And there's no lights in the house. And if someone has to go to the bathroom, they give that person a candle. And they have to walk like fucking like they're looking for it, you know, like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo in the graveyard or something like that, walking through the house with a candle to use the bathroom. When the commercials come on for the football game, you have to turn the television off and then turn it back on again. And then there's the best part. So the husband wanted to, you know, have dinner with his friends, and she was like not having that either, but she decided that she was going to go ahead and get a lasagna. She was going to make a lasagna.
Oh, snap.
That's okay. Here we go. So,
I'm in.
Let's see if you still are. How do you think she made this lasagna? I know that you don't know, but just take a guess.
I would imagine that you take the frozen lasagna and you put it in the oven.
Naturally, right? Well, it wasn't a frozen lasagna. She made this thing. But what she did... she went to the store to get meat. And the guy was like, okay, it's, you know, so much a pound. She's like, that's not really working for me. So, you know, do you have any meat fat? So the guy brings like just a gigantic piece of fat. That's all it is, just a white fat.
Jesus.
And she cut that like in half. So she was just serving, it was like a real fatty meat. Whatever. But here's the thing. So she makes this lasagna, right? Yeah. And she wraps it in a, you know, like a tin, and she wraps it in foil. Apparently she wraps it really well, but she then proceeds, Steve, to put the lasagna in the dishwashing machine while the dishes are washing, because the heat from the dishwasher should cook the lasagna.
Dude. What made her? But here's the thing, though. With that sort of ingenuity, I would imagine that, like, it would have dawned on her this is a bad idea because of just the ingenuity of it. She would be like, wait a minute. Because she must be smart. She must be.
I don't know. There's just certain ones. Like I'm saying, like I said, there's an Asian woman, there's a black couple. I'm saying this because should you go and watch these, it's just a little easier to find. You know what I mean? The ones that I'm talking about.
Jesus, dude.
What else did she do? Anyway, these people eat this lasagna, and it's just horrible. It's got soap water in it.
No one got sick?
No, and they just ate it. It was crazy. So crazy. Another family, I'm not going to talk about every single episode, but another family, super cheap. They don't like to buy food because food's expensive, and they like to utilize everything with an animal. So they just spend their day looking for roadkill, and then they eat the roadkill, and they serve it to their guests.
Dude,
and
what
the
have you
kids
started
all
watching?
look, and the kids all have that look too. Again, that looking through you kind of look. I can't explain it. I just feel so sorry for these children, man. I mean, there's one thing to teach your kids to be frugal, but there's always that extreme side, which is why these shows are here. And then, you know what? Finally, there's this other guy. This dude's my favorite. He's this black dude. He's married to this white woman, and he's just the cheapest guy ever. And his thing is he likes to haggle. So he wants to have an anniversary party for his wife. He goes in to get cake. He goes in to get cake, and he's like, so, I'm going to have a party with about 6 guests. So, what can we do? And she's like, well, okay, well, for 6 guests, you're going to need, blah, blah, this sheet cake. And he's like, and how much is that? Oh, okay. It's like, whatever, 20, let's just say it's like $20. He's like, yeah, that's not really working for me. So is there anything that we can do? Like, do you have any like day old ingredients that you can use?
Oh my God, dude.
And then, and of course her answer is like, no, dude. And then he goes, well, what if we just did it without the frosting on it? How much would you charge me for that? She's like, it kind of comes with the frosting. He's like, okay, well, here's the deal. I have around $25 that I want to spend. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she flips the page. She's like, well, this one here's like $22. He's like, no. For the entire party.
Dude, come on.
That's what she said, Steve, pretty much. And she's just looking at him like, okay. So she goes, I have these cake pops, which is basically like a cake in a cup with some sprinkles and shit on it.
Yeah.
These are day old. So, how about, there was like six or 7 of them. How about like $6 for everything? He's just doing this the whole time. He goes into a to get balloons. And, the Mylar balloons at like a party store.
Of course.
And he doesn't want to spend the money. So he ends up haggling down to getting ones like, happy anniversary, Juggy. And like, sorry to see you go, Steve. And all these like,
Jesus,
just like, happy
dude.
graduation. There's just all these different ones. And it's just hilarious, man. This poor guy, like he really did love his wife. You can tell, but she's just like, oh my God.
Did
he
he?
embarrasses the shit out of me every single time we go somewhere because he has to haggle while he's on this shopping shopping adventure with his buddy who's helping him get stuff for the party. His buddy's even like, oh my God, this is the most embarrassing thing ever. You got to watch this show, man. I don't know what these episodes are. I may have to send you some links because I actually watch these on YouTube, but extreme cheapskates, dude. Off the hook.
I might have
crazy.
to do this, G.
It's totally worth it, but it does not come close to Hoarders, man. Like I've seen Hoarders before, Steve. I was very familiar with the show when you talked about it the other day, but I went back and started watching some episodes because you put something in my head. You said, I immediately wanted to find out what is the nastiest episode. So that's what I did too. And I found it, Jay. And I think we kind of talked about it, but
yes.
I need to know, have you seen this episode?
I have.
Okay, so the episode that I am talking about is the Poop Woman episode. Man, like, what did you do to me? Because now I can't stop watching this shit. Like, I want to stop watching it, but it's like...
It's addicting, dude.
It's addicting. And there's one... I'm just going to say it. It's more of a question. Because I think that this is something that the network is doing. Because have you yet, I'm being serious about this, have you seen one person that isn't white on this show with a hoarding problem?
Yes.
You have?
Uh-huh.
How many? Okay, so have you seen many
About
of them?
4 or 5.
For
black
real?
women,
Okay, cool.
And yeah.
Because all of the ones that I saw, it was just like all these white people. And
No.
And then like the cheapskate stuff or like the My Strange Addiction. Like there's this one chick that was just addicted to eating her mattress.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. But it just seems like they kind of kept, from what I had seen, and I'm being serious, it's just like all white people.
Oh no, there's one black woman with a mansion. And when you open the door to the mansion, it's just, you have to climb up to get even in the house.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah, and it's funny because when they tell you the story of how it all started,
yeah,
you're like, oh, this can just happen to anyone, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thing where, oh, she was like this as a child. They're like, no. One day my mom just a switch flipped and she became this person. I'm like, oh, that is horrifyingly scary, dude.
That's crazy. But in all seriousness, I'm actually glad that there are, because I was thinking, wow, this is like a weird narrative they're spinning. Obviously, I didn't watch every single. I don't even know how many seasons there are. There's a ton of them.
There's a lot.
But I ran through a grip of them, and I was like, where? All I'm seeing is white people. Like, are they doing this on purpose? Is this part of their narrative or something? So I'm glad. I'm actually relieved. It's unfortunate that any of these people are going through this shit, but I'm relieved that they're at least showing other.
I think a big reason you probably don't see a bunch of black folks because someone is around being like, oh, you think you're going to show this on national television? Hell no. So someone in their family is like, wrong again, Mom. You're not doing
No,
this.
that makes a lot of sense, because that's definitely, that's like.
That's embarrassing. That poop lady, G?
Dude. Just so people know what's up with this one. How about you give me a little bit of a run through? I've been yapping. Tell me a little bit about this episode so we can talk about it.
This woman, and she's it's obvious that she's not all firing on all cylinders.
And also, she has that same look that I'm talking about, where they're like looking through you, not at you.
Yes, totally. And oh God, like she'll hold a poop tray with her bare hands.
Yeah, but she was living there with her mother. Her mother was the hoarder initially. She took on the hoarding tendencies, and then her mother got her on this thing where like they didn't want, I don't know if it was like the plumbing was broken or they didn't want, no, because they're not cheapskates. I think it was just like the plumbing was broken and they didn't want to have the plumber come out and fix it. So they were shitting and peeing in like, you know, those 5-gallon buckets that you get at Home Depot.
That was the first time I saw one of the people puke.
Oh my God.
One of the cleaners was like, what?
It's so crazy, man.
And I remember when they walked in, they're like, do you smell that? She's like, no.
I don't smell anything. I ain't be smelling nothing here. It smells good to me.
Yeah, she's like, it might be the mold. They're like, no, that's dookie and pee.
That is boo-boo, my lady.
I was like, this, and that was the one where I said, no, this woman's something's not firing.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. And I'm surprised that someone didn't step in way before that.
But talk about the process of her, like how she does this, like into the bucket, unless you want me to, and I'll do it. I'm just telling you.
Please talk about it. Yes, go.
Sorry. I'm like over here I'm dictating to him. I'll just tell you. So she shits in this bucket. Mom's gone. Mom is dead.
Oh, this is
but
the part.
Mom's still there a little bit though. That's the thing. There's a little bit of mom still left in the house. And you would think that I'm talking about maybe a picture on the wall.
Wrong again.
Or something. Wrong. It is her urine and her feces that are in containers like were they milk jugs? No. Were they milk jugs? Some kind of jug.
No, they were like the gallon jugs.
Yeah, it was like a gallon jug.
But a bunch of different, like one was an old lemonade one.
Yeah, or like the big
one
water
was an
jugs.
Yes.
That's
it's
right.
just a bunch of different sort of cranberry juice emptied out and just peed in.
Yeah, there's piles and piles and I assume gallons and gallons of urine and feces in these. Oh my God, it's so fucking nasty. Just everywhere in the house. Everywhere. And here's the deal. So this is her process. She shits in the bucket, right? And then it's too heavy to carry because, instead of just doing it one time and rinsing it out, I'm going to let that shit pile up over a matter of...
Oh,
like, think about it. How... I'm sorry to be gross. But to fill a 5-gallon bucket full of your urine and feces...
Bro.
It's got to take at least over a week, right?
Gee, that way more than a week.
Exactly. But I'm saying, my point is that she just leaves it there. So instead of just dumping it out, what she does is she goes, well, I think she said something like, well, it's too heavy to carry. So what I do is I get a smaller bowl and I scoop it out. And then I take this outside. She takes it out to her front yard, people, and she just dumps it right there on the grass. Right there. We're just broad daylight. And there's a pond. And what's really funny is where she was dumping, there was so much vegetation. Did you notice that? There was it was seriously,
kind of was working.
It was lush.
It was very lush.
Yeah, very lush. But so obviously, the city
and the
involved.
Neighbors can smell the soupçon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Have you ever walked past? I know you have. Everyone here has, but you walk past like an outhouse at a concert or something like that.
Oh,
and
dude.
it's funky. So imagine what this house
and that's underground.
Yes. But imagine what this house has in it.
Oh,
that's
dude.
just radiating out of it.
Dude.
So when the guy finally comes to help her out, and he sees all these buckets of poop, and
he was done.
He was done. He was done when he knocked on the door. He's like, oh
done.
shit, I'm getting too old for this shit. But he's like, so you move the poo from here to there, and then she's like, oh, it's time to eat. And she's sitting down and she's eating.
This
She's
was
like,
the worst part.
Yeah, she's like, I'll make you lunch. He's like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, so I just noticed something. You did not wash your hands after you dumped the poo outside. And she's like, well, it's my poo. And apparently she's been doing this for years and years. So,
no doubt, James.
yeah. So watch the episode. It's just so crazy. But there's a part of it where they're starting to try and clear her house out, and she's being somewhat agreeable with it, even though she's just she's nuttier than squirrel shit. This lady, but she goes. She had like some lettuce in a container, like a mixed greens kind of thing, and they were like, you got to throw all this stuff out. Like your house is so poisoned with toxic smells and urine and it's toxic. Your house is unlivable. All of this food that you have is inedible because it's got fecal matter all over it. And she's like, but I've been eating it for years. So she has expired greens that they want to throw out. She's like, well, no, these are still good. They're like, whatever her name is, you have fecal matter all over this. You were touching this all over. She's like, I've been doing it for years. And she's like, and I don't feel right about it. And I just want to have my last hurrah. So she wanted to, for whatever weird thing clicks in your head that turns you into a hoarder, it was telling her, no, you got to do this. Because they always hold on to things for like these weird sentimental reasons. And she just wanted to eat the fecal matter contaminated greens
dude,
to satisfy this weird hoarding urge.
So weird.
It's fascinating, dude. And I've watched these before, and I'm fascinated when I watch them. I mean, for years I've known about hoarders, but I kind of got back into it again. I had to put it down because it starts getting kind of sad,
Oh yeah, like I had to start watching something happy, so I started watching Parking Wars, and that just made me smile, and so I toggle between the two.
Man, I for people that haven't heard of the show, I guess had you heard of it before? Because you said
I had. I used to watch it, but just out of nowhere, I was like, let me go see that again.
Okay, all right.
And it was as if I've never watched it before.
Same here, kind of. Like if maybe you watched it once before, and if you have Hulu, just try it out. Or even better, if you just want to cut to the chase, just Google Hoarders episode with Poop Woman or something like that. And it will be the first thing that pops up. It is crazy. The dead cat one was nuts.
Oh, dude. How crazy when they found the mushy cat, dude.
On that same episode, the dude with the rats.
Dude.
Oh my God.
No, and it wasn't just a few. It was an overrun.
Yeah,
bro.
he's like, well, I had these two rats and
Dude,
they got away. They got away. They escaped their cage and they got into the walls. And the next thing you know, they're breeding. This dude had thousands of rats in his home that were like cannibalistic. They're eating each other. They're fighting.
Dude.
The males are very aggressive. And he's just in the middle of it, just feeding them. Come here, you little.
He's kind of making an
rodent
evolutionary experiment in his house.
Yeah, man. That house is bad, but
gee, and the thing is, I love that ever so often one of the children will break. Like, they're like, Mom, you got to get rid of this. No, I'm going to keep this. Mama, I said you got to get it. I was like, oh, there it goes. I'm tired of living here. I'm like, oh, it happened. That's where it happened. Like, all of a sudden, they just break. They can't deal with it anymore. I love that, John. It's sad.
It is.
But I could tell how they were being nice the whole time. And finally, like, the mom wants to keep a shoe from 1928, and that's it. They're like, you know what? We're done.
Yeah, there'll be
and
like
they just
stacks of newspaper with rat urine, rat feces in there. Well, someone might want to read these one day. No one's reading it. No one's reading that. You're insane. And this is the thing. I feel bad for these people because a lot of them, at least the episodes that I've seen, you see a lot of old mothers.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're just by themselves and they're always crying. And it always comes from, back in the 80s, I got divorced. And, so it's like, yes, we are watching this morbidly for our entertainment, and it's very entertaining. I'm sorry. It just really is.
It is very
But at the same time, you're seeing these people that just have so much mental illness And I never feel optimistic for them when they're like, you know how they always do the 6 months later
Afterwards.
or whatever.
Yeah, they're
continuing
doing
their therapy.
Yes.
Oh, it was so funny though. The poop lady, when they talked the sister into letting her move in, and they're like, so you're going to go ahead. Your sister's go ahead and agree. She's agreed to let you move in. Sis is pissed. You could just see it all
Not
over her
buying
face.
it,
Like,
yeah.
this bitch better not even try this at my house. Or she's
Because
out.
someone told her either A, you want your sister not to make it, or B, she has to move in with you. Those are the only two. And she was like, Jesus.
Yeah, here's some guilt or some more guilt.
Exactly. And my thing is, here's what I will give the ultimate props to. The cleaning people.
Oh my God.
I mean, the ability, when you see the before and after, because you think, well, after is going to be a little cleaner. No. It looks like a new place. I'm like, oh, and they're in there like on hands and knees, like legitimately killing it. I said, you know what? They're smart to wear the t-shirts of their cleaning company because I guarantee they got a lot of calls.
Oh, I'm
People are
sure.
like, oh my God, you did that. My house ain't even near what that is. Yeah, dude, they were underneath the ovens and like they're scrubbing on their hands and knees. So props all day long to them, G. Incredible. Even the haulers, like they're cleaning up these houses. How are they? 3 days?
What did they say?
How the heck do they do that?
They said that they collected, I want to say it was 100 gallons of urine and feces.
That is so
because
nasty,
do you remember that? They had like the
I do.
trash cans that were lined up.
And dude's puking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, they bring the brother-in-law in. He's like, I'm
"What?"
out. I gotta go. Pukes in the lush shit canal.
Yeah.
So
Because it's that nasty.
so
G. And
nasty.
I can see why people are addicted to this show. Like, here's the thing. Hoarders is going to end when the producers just get tired of making the episodes. It's not going to be because viewership goes down. It's going to be like, we're tired of doing this. That's what's going to end Hoarders.
Yeah, this is depressing me to make these shows.
No! They're going to be like, we can't do this anymore. Other than that, they're never going to run out of people or people wanting to watch these people.
Yeah.
It's over. Even Wickrama was like, yeah, sometimes if I feel kind of bad, but one of the counselors actually was like, he seems like he cares. I think all the counselors care. Every single one that I've seen is like genuinely trying to be like, look, how do we make it so that we don't have to come here again? How do we do this?
Yeah, that's what they care about.
Yes, they're like, we don't ever want to see this for you. And remember that girl, you didn't get to see there's a lady that has 3 semi trucks in her backyard.
I have not seen that one.
And they're like, what do you need this for? I don't know. I mean, he's like, they're just the back of them, semi trailers. And they're like, what are you going to ever put in there? I don't know. You know, I might need it to, they're like, you know what you could have put in there all this time?
Shit.
So apparently you're not going to use it. And they're like, because they're empty. Well, I don't want to get rid of them because, you know, you just never know what you could use them. And yeah, the guy was like, I know you're not going to use them for storage. That's for sure. And she got rid of them. I mean, it was just good. And it's fun to be had. But I get for people who just get depressed or they have a family member that's a hoarder, I can see why this wouldn't be their thing. But for me, I legit can't get enough of it. I could go to sleep to it. Like your friends. Your friends is my hoarders.
That's a bit much because I don't want to go to sleep dreaming about these people, but
I don't even think, I literally just am sitting there and be like, huh, look at all those cats. And I drift.
oh my God, those cats. I felt so
Gee.
bad for those cats because you told me about that, how there was
when their eyes came out.
There's so
Jesus,
much
dude.
fecal matter and urine and ammonia in the air at eye level that these poor little kittens, their eyes popped out. And I just felt so bad, but that lady was trippy.
It
She's
was
like,
a horror story.
yeah, they open up I know we already talked about this, but they open up a refrigerator and there's
Oh my God.
one that's not that, like, it hasn't been dead that long because its head
Yeah.
kind of like falls down over the shelf. And she's like, I just can't get rid of him. I miss him so much. I just love him. Like, you have lost your goddamn
I
mind.
felt so bad for her when that's the first episode where you see the reality hit her.
Yeah.
While the camera's happening. And she's like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, and I said, maybe we shouldn't be recording. Like, reality has all of a sudden dawned on her. She's like, I've killed things. These kittens have no eyes. What kind of monster? And I was like, oh, this isn't good. Someone's going to have to watch her.
Oh my God.
Because she's now drifting back into normalcy. And she's like, what have I done? It's like waking up like what's his name? Ted Bundy waking up and being like, oh my God, I've murdered people.
Oopsies.
What if you should kill me today? Like, what are we waiting for? I should sit in that chair now.
Coincidentally, he was the first person to use the term "my bad." He's like, "Oh, my bad."
My bad. Be like, yeah. And everyone else is like, wow, I never heard that, but that is perfect. Yes.
It's definitely a good, appropriate use of that. Yes.
You know what sucks, dude?
What's that?
Whoever invented my bad will never get the credit for it. If you're like, hey, I invented that term, they're like, yeah, me too.
I don't like
there was a first person to say it.
Yeah.
And it just swept the nation, and now they're never going to get love for that.
My bad has turned into, I don't really give a shit. I'm just saying it, though. Like, people do shit that they know they shouldn't be doing. And oh, my bad.
My bad.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, you're totally right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. It's such a throw. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Dan.
What's that?
I have a beef with evolution.
As in, like, the theory of evolution?
Yes.
Okay, bring it. Oh, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and just say real quick before you say that. Hoarders is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and give it...
oh, yeah, that's right.
You know what? Honestly, it's just so fucking addicting. I'm going to go ahead and go 4.5 out of 5.
Holy crap.
Urine buckets.
I will give this a strong 3.75 out of 5 eyeless kittens.
Yeah, you gave it squished kitties last time.
This is so terrible,
Goopy
Dan.
kittens.
It was walking in circles. That's not funny.
It's not.
Jay.
It's really not funny at all.
I'm
laughing
so
uncomfortably.
You should be, because it was the most.
Yeah.
And how did the son know what happened to the cat? I didn't know that a lot of ammonia can make their eyes pop. Did he get some sort of seminar?
Yeah, it makes you wonder if it was someone that they brought in and told him that, or
that has to be it. Because there's no way.
Maybe he was good in school.
Not a chance.
Maybe he was good at science.
Nope, I heard the interview. That dude, someone told me.
Maybe he works at a like a hazmat place or something like that.
If I were interviewing him and he said that, I'd be like, push pause and Google that. I don't even know if that can happen, because I've walked into a lot of ammonia and my eyes didn't seep out of my head.
Fact check.
I don't know if that's true, dog.
Makes me wonder. I mean, obviously they're little kittens and stuff like that, but it makes me wonder if like this lady was having issues too. Like she couldn't be healthy, right? There's no way this woman is healthy.
That's what I'm saying. I think that the kids and kittens were just deformed.
Maybe inbred, deformed.
Yes, there's so much ammonia in the air that are. So what's up with the lady's eyes then, G?
I think it's worth a Google. Not now, but I do think that it's worth a Google. I don't see why they would just throw that in there.
I will do that.
Yeah, that's definitely worth. You need to fact check that one. I feel that it's true. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know. I feel it's accurate, Steve.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, here, so check this out, G. So this week, I've realized that evolution hasn't quite worked for us men.
Okay.
Because I don't believe after 1 billion years, we should be able to sneeze while we're peeing.
Did somebody have...
That should have been stopped ages ago.
Did somebody have some cleanup to do?
Gee, let me tell you what happened, dog. I had a clean stream going.
Yeah.
And I was about to sneeze. I was like, and for something in my brain was like, oh, you can't sneeze while you pee. So I was like, oh, I'm not worried about it then. And I did pee everywhere. And I said, shouldn't we have evolved out of this? Like the mechanism should not be attached. Like there should be a mechanism where if you're peeing, well, then it shuts off the sneezing mechanism, because obviously you'll pee everywhere.
We're imperfect.
Shouldn't we have evolved out of that?
I think so. At this point, we should have.
I bet you don't pee while you don't sneeze while you pee.
Oh, I've sneezed while I pee, and I made a mess. How do you think I knew this? I've done this.
I've never done it before. This was the first time it's ever happened.
It's not something that happens regularly, but I'd say it's happened once or twice.
Wow.
You hear me in this? Ah, damn it. That's what happened.
Gee, that is a bummer. Because it was everywhere.
What about the weird thing that happens? This is too much. You have a normal stream going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly, like a little stream starts to the right of it. You ever had that happen?
That normally happens. That normally happens if I had a bit of fun the night before.
Yeah. I was working towards that, but I was just trying to paint the picture. But yeah, let's just cut to the chase. Yeah, you got to do some clean.
Yeah, you gotta.
Don't fall asleep.
Clean wipe.
This is why we.
No,
this is why we bathe afterwards or something.
Yes, and so yeah, that normally I'm like, oh, I got the little vampire spray.
All of a sudden, my urine said, peace. And there's
We're going to do the Cobra today.
Wow.
And go, yeah, it's everywhere.
that was a really bad idea to put the toilet paper roll right there because that's gone.
Oh, that's true. Hey, if you pee on your toilet paper, do you just let it dry and still use it? Or
No.
will you just, why not?
Well, first of all, I live with 3 other people.
Ah,
That's the number
there's the
one
thing.
first rule.
I know, but in yours,
No, because I share a bathroom with my wife.
what if you were single?
I don't think I would do that because that's like hoarder shit.
No, it's not.
In a weird way, it is.
How?
I mean, I guess it's you. So
yes.
okay. So here's a better question: do
Okay.
you do this, Steve?
Here's the thing: if I pee on my toilet paper,
Uh-huh.
I have to now decide. Okay, and this happens in a split second with people in your brain. You have to weigh, be like, okay, is this worth the trouble of me unraveling to the dry part, throwing away the thing, doing all this junk, or can I just be like, let it air dry, bro? I'm air drying it, man.
I'm surprised you didn't say something like, "Oh, it just falls in the water." You know what I mean? So I don't even need to worry about it.
I just I don't even think about it, bro.
Speaking of air drying, what's your take on this? You're camping, or maybe you're just out somewhere and you really gotta go, right? You gotta go. So you're like, shit, I can't hold anymore. I'm gonna go behind this tree. Go behind the tree. You're wearing shorts. Maybe you get some backsplash on your shins. What do?
If I pee,
Yeah, just
and I get backsplash,
just a little bit, just a couple of little drops.
Oh, I ain't tripping.
I ain't tripping either, dog. That's me.
I do not. Let me tell you something, bro. Here's the thing. I have to ask myself.
They call me stinky shins. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, dog. I think, like, if I don't know what my limit, like how much pee would have to get on me.
Yeah.
Like, what if pee did not smell? If you soaked your foot in pee, would you trip?
Well, apparently it heals jellyfish stings.
That's a myth.
Yeah, but someone had to try it out. It didn't kill him.
This is true. I know one person that got peed on after getting stung by a jellyfish.
Are you sure it's a myth?
It's a myth.
I don't know, man.
If anything, it's your brain thinks it works, so it does the thing.
Maybe it's just maybe I don't know if it's a cure, but maybe it just relieves the pain. That's all I thought it was. I didn't think it was like, oh, it's going to heal my sting.
There's nothing you can do about it because it goes to your pain center and just activates.
I don't know, man. I think it might be like it might make it feel
You just
better.
want your girl to pee on you, G? Just say that junk.
Oh, I don't need to. That's just part of the deal. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my
I'm joking.
Lord.
I'm joking. No, but like I think that I think it would obviously because it's like your urine's not acidic. So it's more alkaline. So I think that it would actually help the sting.
But that means just water then. And water doesn't help the sting.
I don't know, bro, but I would do it.
It's a myth.
I would pee on myself. If I got stung in the foot, I would pee on myself to try it out.
Dude, and there's certain have you watched what is that thing called where the people just keep getting bit by worse and worse things?
I don't know. Sounds interesting.
It's
though.
on National Geographic. It's like King of Pain. And what they do is they're like, all right, where they go to an island. They're like, what's the most dangerous, hardest biting thing you have here? And they get bit by that thing. And one of them, he got bit by a python. And one of its teeth latched into him and got ripped out. But I guess they grow back. And dude, you would think that it cut an artery. Just blood started pouring out of this guy's arm. And he got up and got kind of woozy. He's like, oh, that wasn't a good idea at all. I'm like, oh,
Timber.
They have a doctor on site, but it is just drenching
That's
his
not
arm.
a good idea at all. You think?
And then
now you have to tell yourself that.
I would not. I think he said it to the camera thinking it was all good, but apparently fairly quickly, if you lose enough, mighty quickly, you start getting a little bit like, woo, I'm feeling. And then it was still the other guys. So they patched him up and it was still his partner's turn. So after he comes back all healed up, his partner has to then go and get bit by the python.
It doesn't take long for that shit to spread, dude. If it gets you if you get bit and it gets into your bloodstream, it will get into your arteries within 30 seconds. It will be in your veins within a minute and 10 seconds.
Well, the good thing is the python's not poisonous.
No. I'm just saying, though, like what you were saying, oh, it was a python. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not. But the thing is, it nicked something because the doctor said, what happened was the doctor said, you see this? and it looked like there was just a purple and black bubble on his arm. He said, that's a hematoma.
Yeah, definitely.
And that means something happened in there that's not
it probably just hit
good.
a
So
vein.
he lanced it, and all this crap came out. And I was like, oh, this is a fantastic. And then he gets stung by that. What's that Asian wasp thing?
Asian wasp?
Tarantula killer?
I'm not sure.
Look up there's an Asian wasp that kills tarantulas. And it has like the most painful sting. And dude, let me tell you, bro. These shows, I've watched all the episodes and they got canceled because I don't think like animal rights activists liked it too much because they were a little bit rough sometimes. And they're like, I don't think that thing survived after you did what you did. So it ended up getting canceled. But it was fun kind of while it lasted.
Hey, is it the tarantula hawk?
Yes! They got stung by one of those.
Damn.
I think, you know what's funny? I would pay, even though it would never happen in my wildest dreams, if someone was like, hey, what friend of yours would you pay to get stung by random animals? I'm like, you need say nothing more. Dan.
Me?
No, I mean, this isn't even, yes, your reaction to each one of these things. And I think the most fun part would be the impending doom that you feel on the way. I'd be like, this is the best thing that's happened to me today.
Wow.
As you're walking toward the tarantula hawk, seeing it in the jar, your reaction would be priceless.
Oh, I have no doubt about that, but that shit is not happening. You know what? I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm just, why? Or insects or snakes I don't like. But I mean, I'm not afraid of them per se. It's the like dying part.
The bite.
Well, not even the bite. I guess the result of the bite would be a better way of looking at it.
Yes, that's for me. I don't get the only thing I'm like. I don't get nervous, but I'm just like when they say it doesn't bite. I say your snake definitely bites. It hasn't bitten you yet, and I'll hold it, but it bites. Make no mistake. If it smells a mouse on me, oh, there's not a question it's going to bite me. So those are the only things where I'm just like, well, look, as long as someone's around that can unlatch its head, I'm fine. But if you don't have, if no one's around, I don't mess with people's snakes. I make sure they're there.
I heard you've been messing with people's snakes a lot.
Oh, this guy.
I'm sorry. That was cheap.
Guy.
It was cheap. I'm sorry.
Hey, it works, bro.
Thank you very much. Hey, Steve, you want to
So-
talk about some movies?
Let's talk
Stuff
about
we've
some movies.
watched.
We ain't got a whole lot of time.
We got some stuff to talk about, I think.
Yes, we do.
Now, I think we've seen pretty much everything that we, agreed to watch, but there is one that I watched that you didn't, and I want to talk about it because I feel like you should. And what it is This Is Pop on Netflix. Have you heard of this, sir?
I have, and I'm very, very excited to hear what you say about it.
All right. This Is Pop uncovers the real stories behind your favorite pop songs as this docuseries charts the impact of the festival scene, auto-tune, boy bands, and more. They start off right away with, I guess, boy bands, but they talk about one of the main, like the new school original ones from like the 90s, which was Boys to Men, and the effect that they had going forward on pop music with like white boy bands and stuff like that.
Listen!
It's really interesting, dude. That's when I watched that one, I'm like, okay, Steve's really gonna like this because I know you're a Boys to Men fan.
No one's talked about this one to me, by the way. They only talk about one episode. This one I did not even know about.
Yeah, it's really good, but it just talks about how when Boys to Men came out, Michael Bivins was actually approached by them. Like, hey, I think you should manage us, and he was like, I've never done that before. No, you need to be the one to manage us. So he does manage these guys, and of course, the rest is history. But it just talks about how like Boys to Men, the Motown Philly sound was a little bit different than what was going on. They were they weren't necessarily bad boys. They weren't bad boys at all. They were just like they were like nice guys that were doing modern pop music, but they also had like a flair of, say, like the Temptations or the Pips or something like that. They brought that with them. So therefore you get like Motown Philly is that's what they were saying. And
nice.
So it just talks about like their start and how like meta their first hit really was, because they come out from the gate telling you how they got there. Their first single, back in school, we used to sing about this every day. Would it really happen? And was it Dreams Will Fade Away? Whatever.
Yeah.
So like they're starting off. Their first hit is about like their success, and they haven't even gotten successful yet. But that's how like confident they were. You know what I mean? And Michael Bivins was like, oh yeah, these guys are going to go all the way. And they did. And it just talks about how like they weren't just like for the black crowd. They were very, and to this day, it's still the same way. Like they really radiated with like middle-aged white women and stuff like that. And how that kind of like transferred over to influencing these boy bands. So like you think of like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. They were actually borrowing from them. They respected them and they acknowledged that they were borrowing from them. They were like kind of, I wouldn't say obviously they're not the originators, you know, but they were definitely an original in that time. Would you not agree? When they came out,
oh, for sure,
there wasn't a lot of that. You know, they weren't like I think it was Blackstreet that they compared him to. Totally different. You know, they weren't taking their shirts off and shit.
Yes.
And like, you know, humping chicks
like
in the
they
face.
were not
like
Jodeci.
Singing to them in the front
they weren't
row.
Jodeci.
They weren't Jodeci.
And
you know what? I'm sorry. It was Jodeci. That's exactly who they were talking about.
Yeah, Jodeci was. They were like a clean cut version of Jodeci.
Yeah. I don't really listen to a lot of those bands. I didn't listen to them back then. So I was messing up. But yes, it was Jodeci who they were talking about. Anyway, Steve, I don't want to like just break the entire thing down, but that episode alone is worth watching this series. The second one is also interesting because it's all about auto-tune and T-Pain and where it came from and how like Cher, that song Believe was kind of what put it on the map. That one, and then like Kanye West with, I think it was it Heartless? I think it was Heartless. But you know, it talks about the basically the origin of autotune, how this one guy made this sound and producers went nuts when it came out because they were able to take artists that they were maybe a little pitchy or they weren't perfect and they could just dial them in and you have a fantastic record or at least a fantastic vocal track. And then someone decided, let's just turn that shit all the way up. And then it made a kind of sound, you know? and that's where it came from. And T-Pain is the one that really like embraced that shit. And he got famous doing this. And I think a lot of people owe T-Pain that, you know, whether or not you like him, this dude took a crazy chance and pretty much just bet his whole career on it. Right? I mean, I don't know about is he even recording anymore? Because that I don't know. But
he's done a Tiny Desk. That's about it.
Yeah, but he's still using that though? Like in anything that he does, he still uses that, right? Because
I imagine so. I know he could really legit sing.
Yes, I was going to say because they actually showed him. Maybe was it Tiny Desk? I can't remember. They did show him doing a performance. And it was just him and this other guy, and he was just straight singing. And everyone was like really surprised, like, oh, he doesn't really need to do this. This is just his thing. And so the whole episode is just like, again, it's about the origin of autotune, how it came to be, when it actually took that next step, and when people started using it and creating these hits off of it. So again, another super interesting one. And then they have another one called Stockholm Syndrome, and it's all about how all of this amazing pop music that we know and love was coming out of freaking Sweden. Actually, it was like ABBA, of course.
It was Martin.
Martin Dennis,
Martin.
I think.
Oh, what's his name? Max Martin, and then there's a Dennis guy. I'm trying to pull the name. Those two did everything for those boy bands and Britney Spears, dude. He was a wealthy individual.
Man, they had like Backstreet Boys had some songs from them. Britney Spears, as you said, and NSYNC. It was Swedes. What is it? Swedes Denny's Pop is the guy that I was talking about. But there's just so much pop music. Roxette from the 80s, Ace of Base, Robin, all of this stuff was coming from Sweden. And it's just like they just don't know how to not make hits. It's very interesting. I mean, whether or not you like the music or not, it's a very interesting episode. And then
money.
Yeah. And then I haven't seen all of them, but then the other one I watched was called Festival Rising. And it's all about just the it starts talking about like Woodstock, but then it talks about how Europe really was like the gold standard for getting the music festival right. They had Glastonbury, which was just on this farmland, and they have since done this every single year for a number of years. But America really couldn't get it right, and talks about how Woodstock, it was what it was, but it like disappeared for a while, and there was no other really good music festivals. And they would kind of come back up. They had like the Monterey Pop Festival. They talk a lot about that one, Jimi Hendrix and such, and what's his name? What's his Shanker? How do you say his name? Robbie Shanker?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Shanker?
Yeah. But just a whole bunch of people. It's the Monterey Pop Festival is what they're talking about. But then it talks about in I want to say it was like 94. It all starts going blurry after a while. Whenever the new Woodstock happened. and how that just became this disaster because he had all these amazing bands and all these fantastic performances, but it was all done in a corporate fashion, and these people didn't give a shit, and they ended up not giving their the audience members weren't getting water. They didn't have enough outhouses. They were like the poo lady, there was just shit everywhere flowing. People were rioting. They were having fires. Women were getting raped and all this stuff. So we also had Lollapalooza from like 92 through 96 or something, the actual touring festival, not like the one-offs that they do now. And all of this stuff sort of disappeared after Woodstock. And it talks about how later on they started trying to get it right with like the Horde Festival and a number of other festivals. So that one's not as interesting as the other ones, but Steve, this is all, if I'm talking to anyone right now, I'm talking to you. This is right up your alley. You need to watch it. So
I'm all over it, dude. What's your rating?
I will give this, it's very interesting to me. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. I don't even know. I'm just going to give it like a 3.5 out of 5 shitty outhouses because I can't think of anything else right now, Steve.
I like the pun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Maybe it should have been a number 2 out of 5.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I had nothing as far as like anything witty to say, but it's
Clever.
very interesting. Check it out. I watched it actually several days ago, so maybe that's why it's not really. I'm not popping on anything witty to say, but it's very interesting. You guys need to check it. It's on Netflix, and it is called This Is Pop. Interesting as hell.
Done deal. All right. What else were we talking about?
Well, now we can actually talk about the stuff that we both have seen. So, What would you like to do first?
Let's do Fear Street.
Let's do Fear Street.
Fear Street Blues.
Fear Street Part 1, 1994, which came out last Friday, is part of a trilogy that's going to be coming out weekly. So we're going to get Part 2 at the end of the week, this Friday, and then we're going to get Part 3. I think it's on the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. And what it is, a circle of teenage friends accidentally encounter an ancient evil responsible for a series of brutal murders that have plagued their town for over 300 years. Welcome to Shadyside. Directed by Leigh Janiak and written by R.L. Stine, because these are based on books that R.L. Stine written. R.L. Stine of Goosebumps fame. He also did this more, I don't know if it was like an adult series, but definitely older than the Goosebumps books, and it was called Fear Street, and this is what these are based on. It's a story by Kyle Killian and Phil Grazadil, I believe is how you say that. Stars a bunch of people that I really am not familiar with, but I'll name some names. Kiana Madeira, Olivia Scott Welch, Benjamin Flores Jr., Julia Raywald, Maya Hawke, I know her, and then Charlene Amoya, and there's just a bunch of other people, but I don't know any of these people, so I don't really want to go, from this and that. Let's just talk about the movie itself. I have a lot to say, but what do you think, Steve?
I walked into this movie, not walked in. I started this movie already in the mindset I had to ignore the hype because people go overboard.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you want access, you go, and I already got an early screen in a Fear Street, and I'm going to tell you, it is Christ right now on earth. I'm like, okay, these people want access, so I just had to cancel them out. And just watch it, which I recommend everyone doing. Do not listen to the hype. Just watch the movie if you like horror movies. And I will say, when it started, I said, I think I know where this movie's going. I did not know where this movie was going. Because I thought it was going to be like Scream. Oh, no. And I don't even want to mess it up for y'all. But where you think it's going in the beginning of this movie, it totally takes a left turn. And some of the kills, I will say I liked it because some of the kills in this movie, there was one specifically
I know
that
exactly what you're thinking.
I was like, oh my God. I did not. They really sidestep what you commonly would think happens in these movies. Like in my brain, I'm like, I know who makes it and I know who doesn't. No, not at all. I thought it was a fun idea. You can still tell it's very YA for me, in my opinion. I think it's like a borderline, like someone young, except for a few kills, someone fairly young could watch this movie.
Sure.
It's a cakewalk. And it's just a fun, with Goosebumps, I didn't know it was a Goosebumps thing till Kevin hit me up on a private message today. And he's like, yeah, I was worried because from Goosebumps, I was like, is this going to suck? I was like, oh. But then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, yeah, totally. Because they definitely didn't go too far. They did a few interesting kills, but it wasn't nuts throughout the whole movie. There was just like times where kills happen. So I thought it was good, man. I thought it never was boring for me. I just thought I was like, oh, this was a cool movie. Again, people, try to ignore the people hyping it. Just watch it. And I promise you, if you would have just watched it without reading Twitter, you would have been like, hey, that was a good, like I randomly pushed play and it was good. But there's a thing people have with nostalgia. Like it's in right now.
Yeah.
Like big time with Stranger Things, Summer of '84. Like there's a thing happening right now. And I think that tickles people's fancy and makes them go a little bit, crazy.
Sells
but
movies.
I think that,
It sells movies.
Absolutely. And I thought this was a quality, fun thriller. I really enjoyed myself. What did you think?
Much like you, I really enjoyed this. This was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I went in with zero knowledge. Oh, wow. I'd heard about it from a recommendation of somebody else, and I knew it was going to be a trilogy. But other than that, I didn't know anything about it. And I kind of like it that way sometimes. So decided to watch it because it looked fun after I watched the trailer. And pleasantly surprised. I totally get the Scream reference. And I'll kind of expand on that I think that this has potential, depending on what they do with the next two sequels, has potential to be a pretty decent franchise. If I really think it could be.
Oh, for sure.
Because, yeah. I mean, it established itself very well. It's got a decent lore behind it. No, it's actually a pretty solid lore behind it.
Yeah.
And the acting is pretty damn good. Like, these movies always have like cliche characters in them, which in this case, not so much. At least I didn't think so. Takes a little bit of a different spin. It does take some modern takes on things, which I think is good, but it doesn't have a lot of the horror story cliche stuff where you just know, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Like Steve said, I kind of thought, okay, I think I know where this movie's going to go. And it completely flipped me on my ear. And more importantly, it just made me have so much fun watching this movie. It's better. I'm going to put it this way. Fear Street Part 1 is way better than what people are saying it is. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. I'm not saying that it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen or anything like that, but it's way better than people are giving it credit for. And I think they're giving it fairly good credit. I think that they're talking about this one. This has potential to be big. And here's the deal though. This is definitely for a YA crowd, just like you're saying. I think that's a good thing, Steve, because I think this is a perfect example. Like, okay, let's just say you're younger and you're listening to this and you want to start listening or you want to start watching horror movies. This is a very good place to start because, as Steve mentioned, they don't go too far. They do have some very interesting kills and the acting is all good. I didn't really ever once go, this is the guy that's going to die first, or, because I think that a lot of movies, when they're set up that way, they sort of lead you into thinking a certain way about their cast and like who is going to die. There's the person that talks too much. There's the couple that want to go off and have sex. Like there's just these cookie cutter characters that are in a lot of these movies that don't necessarily play into this one. I thought it was cool. I love the idea of it's this curse. I'm not going to get too much into the plot because this is a brand new movie. And I think you should watch it, but there's a curse on this town, and the way that they bring all of these stories together over the course of time and how I think it's all going to play into the sequels is pretty cool. And I love that they chose to, instead of just making this movie and then dropping Fear Street Part 2 in like 2022, and then, at the end of 22, we'll get Part 3. It's just like, nope, week after week, you're going to get it. So it's this rapid fire horror sequel. And I think it's fantastic. Again, way better than I expected it to be. And I recommend everyone watch this one.
Totally agree. Totally. I think, again, this is one of those few horror movies that if I say the wrong thing, it gives something away that I think is a really fun, like that makes this a possible, like you said, a beast of a like sequel after sequel, dude. Uh-huh. This can just keep going. And so I will give this movie a solid,
Don't go too crazy, Steve.
I'm not going to go too crazy, dog. You know what? Right. I will give it a 3 out of 5 nerdy brothers.
All right. Hey, man, he liked Iron Maiden. And Rob Zombie. Just again, a bit of a spin on the characters, would you not say? Like they sort of shuffled the cards up a little bit with this one, and the people that you think are going to be a certain way, they aren't necessarily that way. I'm with you, man. I think it's super entertaining. I will give this movie 3 I might actually raise my rating depending on what happens by the time we get to Fear Street Part 3. But starting off right now, I'm going to go ahead and give it a very solid 3 out of 5. No, you know what? Because it's for a different crowd. It's more accessible, I guess you could say. So I'm going to go a little bit higher. I will go 3.5 out of 5 sandwich size sliced humans.
That's a really good freaking rating, dude. Oh, that was good.
I really enjoyed Fear Street Part 1, guys. Check it out. If I haven't got that into your head, check this one out. I give it a fairly high rating. I will probably watch this again just because of the sequels.
Done deal. What else you got?
Well, sir, now it's kind of up to you. There's a movie that came out on Prime that we can talk about, and there's also another one that came out on VOD. What would you like to start with? That way I kind of know where you're headed.
Let's go Prime.
Okay, I had a feeling. All right, so what we're talking about is the movie that just dropped, I believe it was on Thursday night, starring Chris Pratt. It's actually got a pretty decent cast. It is called The Tomorrow War. A family man is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront the past. Directed by Chris Mackay, written by Zach Dean, stars Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strakovsky, and J.K. Simmons. Also, someone that needs to be mentioned in this one is a guy by the name of Sam Richardson, who plays Charlie.
Oh, dude, he's a star.
We're going to be talking about Sam Richardson again in just a bit.
Yes.
I've never heard of Sam Richardson before. I think he is an instant star. I'm just going to go with that. This dude is a fucking star. I love this guy. And we'll get to
I can watch him. I realized today and yesterday that I'm like, oh, turns out I can just watch him.
Yeah. I want to see this dude doing his own movies. I want him to be the star of his own movie. But before we really start, blowing this guy, let's talk about the cast a little bit more, because also, I said J.K. Simmons, there's also Betty Gilpin, who doesn't have a big part in the movie, but she's in it. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it, man.
You give this time. It's you.
That's what I was gonna say. You did the last one, so okay. With Chris Pratt, I have never really had I have to sometimes take out my personal feelings for Chris Pratt and just understand that when I go see a Chris Pratt movie, I'm sort of looking for something specific. Star-Lord would be one of those things. I mean, if I'm watching him do Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec, there's a certain Chris Pratt thing that he does, but he also has this flip side where he is not, in my opinion, not a bad action star. He's already kind of proven it with Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, but when you got that little Marvel veil over you, anything's possible. On his own, and I'm excluding the Jurassic World movies only because I'm not a big Jurassic World person, so I can't really judge his performance in that. But from everything else that I've seen, I do like Chris Pratt as far as his performance goes. And I think that he does a really good job in this one, man. I think that this movie, I heard a lot of people bashing this one. And they were saying, it's boring and it's got weak writing. And yes, there are these movies that come across as kind of like poorly written and, maybe they just phoned it in or whatever. I don't feel that's the case with this movie. And there are certain things that I'm also very forgiving on, where there's like little plot holes or the science doesn't add, because as you know, Steve, I'm a very bright scientist. So I have all these things, quantum physics and time travel and all that stuff just figured out. So I don't like when they fuck that up. But in all seriousness, there's just certain things that my brain will turn off because I want to accept the big picture of what they're trying to give us, And that's what I did with this movie. I didn't really go into it with any type of preconceptions about it or anything. I just thought I'm going to watch it because it's a Chris Pratt movie. And then I get pleasantly surprised again by Sam Richardson and a number of other people. So I'm kind of babbling, but I'm going to tell you that I very much enjoyed this movie. I think this movie is better than people are giving it credit for. It reminds me, it's, what it is? It's falling into a category, for me personally, that much like the movie Greenland, it's kind of like the modern version of the 90s disaster movies, Independence Day, let's say 2012, things like that. It's not necessarily a disaster movie, but it's got that alien invasion stuff to it. And in fact, I think the aliens are awesome too. I think that the concept of the aliens and the way that they kill is pretty freaking interesting, man. And J.K. Simmons really can do no wrong. The only thing, if I was going to critique one thing about this movie, I would say you need to put more J.K. Simmons in it, because you always need to do that anyway. He's just that good. But yeah, I enjoyed the story. There were some things where I was kind of like, okay, you guys are trying hard just to fill the gaps. But I'm for some reason very forgiving on this movie. I found it super interesting. I thought the action was good. I didn't think there was any bad acting in it. And it looked good. Like the cinematography of it was good. So I'll just start there. Do you want me to rate it now or after?
Give it a rating, yes.
I'm going to go ahead and give The Tomorrow War a 3.5 out of 5 J.K. Simmons biceps.
Surprising,
Right?
wasn't it?
Dude's got some biceps on him, man.
Dude tried to get yoked out real quick.
Yeah, he's in shape, man. No, he's been in shape, though, because have you seen Whiplash?
That's true. He was in shape
Yeah.
for that, too.
He's a hip old
He looked
dude,
different
man.
in this one, though.
Yeah, it's that beard.
It's
that beard, man.
I will say this. Chris Pratt, yeah, you already know my whole thing. He's like super, you know, believes in certain weirdness. And what are you going to do? Because there's a lot of stars that believe in super weirdness, too. But a lot of times he annoys me because I only think he has one gear. I think he is just dude from Parks and Rec in different situations. He lost weight. He's Star-Lord. He's still dude from he's dude from Parks and Rec as Star-Lord. That's why they got him. Because they're like, oh, that's him. He hasn't done anything that just blows my mind. However, if you pick the right part for him, it's perfect. And I think this was it. I will say this. I'm about to go overboard. I think he's more suited to this movie than Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked him better in this movie than in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
The way he was, the army guy, I'm like, that's who you look like. That seems like when he said ex-military, I was like, you know what? He looks like that. That's what he looks like to me. Ex-military guy. I think that he's really good in these sci-fi, movies. Mind you, I like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I just think his funniness plays him well in Guardians of the Galaxy. This is one of those where he relied on some funniness, but he was just legit
He proved he can act.
He proved exactly.
I mean, he's already proven that, but I mean, like, he can go serious too.
Exactly. No, and the thing is, here's the thing. This is more up, as you know, this is more up my alley than Guardians is. This sort of thing is way more me so I'm like, oh, which makes me hope that maybe he's going the Krasinski way, where he's like, you know what? I want to because he produced it. Maybe he's like, I want to do more of this thing. Because this was borderline horror movie.
Yeah.
Borderline.
I'll take that.
Yeah, and because there was sci-fi elements, but some of the stuff I was like, oh, that's a horror movie, what they're doing. Especially when they showed this sort of thing's defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I was like, holy
Hey, come on. That was pretty dope, right?
That was amazing. Because I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then when they explained, like they didn't explain some of the stuff you just can't, because for me, I find if when they're like, oh, it's just unbelievable. In order for me to get the whole, oh, that's just unbelievable, it has to stand out in a movie where aliens crash and eat humans. That's going to be hard to stand out. Something that's unbelievable in that situation, it has to be way unbelievable because I'm already letting a lot of things through. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But what they did that was so smart is how they explained how the things ended up here. That was groovy, dude.
So check this out. That's one of the things that I will say. I don't know if I should say it or not. That's one of the things where it's like, so Gail and I were watching this movie, right? And I rarely do this, but her and I were like in sync as we're watching this movie. And we called the end pretty much right when you think we would. If you've seen the movie, we knew exactly what was going to happen when a certain person showed up in the movie for a quick second, because the way that they talked about it.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So that was weird. Like there was a few little predictions.
That part, I was like, boy, that was a stretch.
I just go, oh, this is what's going to happen now, and sure as shit, that's what happened. But they still totally played it off though. And they still pulled, they pulled it off. They actually did a very good job with it. They left it, I wouldn't say they left it open, but they answered the mystery of where these aliens came from and kind of why very well.
Absolutely.
They didn't really leave anything like, oh, but because something else, there's like a third part to the equation there that they don't really touch on, but you don't really need
Bingo,
to.
because they're like, because we know, okay, they have now said that there may be another something.
Right.
As in like, oh, this was an, okay, so we're both on the same, okay,
For
cool.
sure, yeah.
Because I was just like, oh, snap. I thought it was so smart. And I even love the ending. I already knew this was coming. Mind you, no question. I still love J.K. Simmons in the role. Him taking charge, being like, yeah, you're in charge. And then I thought it was fun. Again, there's a part where I just knew someone was going to die and they totally subverted it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're not going to do that thing. we're not going to do that because we're not, and I think that this is more up my alley. There was not a second in this movie that I was bored.
Yeah, me too, man. It's what I'm saying. This movie's pretty damn good.
It's good,
let's just
dude.
admit
It's
it. This
legit
is a damn
good.
good movie. If you take I forgot who it was. I think it was Forrest. Might have been Forrest that said it. And if it's not, I'm sorry. But someone was like, well, coming off of, it was Templeman. He was just talking about how it was like way better than, what the hell was that movie? I keep forgetting the name of it. The one with Michael B. Jordan that we just watched.
Oh, Creed 2.
No.
Without
remorse. He was saying, yeah, way better than that. See, Amazon, they have a very kind of, their movies are usually pretty good anyway. But they do have that varying degree of like, oh shit, that's a way better movie. Like,
yeah,
because
they have so much money.
Yes,
it's gonna at least look good.
They put out some seriously good original content when they want to and they have the means to do so. And this movie, I would have much rather seen on a big screen. I think this.
I would have loved it.
This movie is our answer, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's better or anything like that, but it is our answer to an Independence Day like movie. And they put it out on Independence Day weekend, which is, it just has that feel to it. But
totally does.
I always look back at Independence Day fondly because I just remember this really good time when Gail and I were dating and we watched the movie and we were like swimming all weekend and stuff. And I don't know why, it has nothing to do with it, but I think fondly of this weekend as far as movies go. And this one did not disappoint. Like it should be in the theater. It's just so much better than people are giving it credit for. And yeah, check this one out. It's really fucking good.
I thought it was, there's a part where a lot of some things are coming and the scope of it was just like, oh my God. Because what they do is they show what individually things can do. And so when you see a bunch of them, you're like, oh my Lord. Yeah. So yeah, I will give this movie an easy. Oh man, that's high.
What did I give it? Did I give it a 3.5? Is that what I gave it? Or did I give it 3.75?
3.75.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm cool with that.
I'll give it an easy 3.25 out of 5. Terrible time jumps.
Oh man. Okay.
That was brutal.
Right, let's talk about that real quick. Because the very first scene, I'm already like, oh, this is bullshit, because of the way people are. I'll just say people are falling. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, man, come on. Like, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But when Chris Pratt does his fall, you're like, come on. And then they don't show anything else around. I'm like, come on, man. People aren't that lucky. They're like, don't worry, Dan. We got you. We're going to come back to this in just a few minutes and show you how lucky, as you say, these people really are. So they gave me that closure I needed on that part. Like, there's just certain things where it's like, I get it. It's a time travel movie. There are aliens. There's this and that. It's all far-fetched. All of it is just fictitious. But sometimes you got to call bullshit. And I never really felt the need to do that in this movie. And like you said, never bored.
I was legit. There is a part that I swear a million people are going to be like, we already knew that I was blown away. I said, what? And then it was like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, I was blown away as much as whatever other person on screen was. I was just flabbergasted. And I was like, I'm in.
Give me a hint.
I'm in, ladies and gentlemen.
What's the hint? Where what are you talking about? What part? Pause. Who are you talking about? Okay, I wanted to pause because I wanted to see like what he was talking about. I will respond to that in saying that I kind of knew that's where they were going, but again, totally, I don't hold any fault to that at all.
No,
it really played
fun.
Well into the story, and I know that some people were kind of bagging on that too about it's lazy writing and the way that they finished the story. You only have so much time, and this movie was it like almost 2.5 hours long?
It was long, dude.
It didn't
but
feel
I
like
didn't
it.
feel
Yeah,
it.
it didn't
Did
feel
not
like it.
feel at all. And I love the fact that when a certain person describes what his life looked like, when I go back to the beginning of the movie, that's who he was. It was already good. And this was a great movie about how you're always, oh, you know what? Once this happened, I'll be happy. Once this happens, I'll be happy. And for someone to be like, interesting news, you never will be. I was like, oh, this is, but maybe I look too deep. But I think that's what they set it up as. We're like, yeah, because once I get this thing, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Once I do this, they'll be fine. And she's like, you just never were. I thought it was good. I'll get it, again, 3.5 out of 5 terrible time jumps. However,
2.5, right? 3.25?
I said 3.25.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, real quick,
What I
gotta
will
give
say-
props, dude, to Edwin Hodge, who plays Dorian in this movie.
Oh, dude.
Because it's just, that's the dude you want on your team.
No question, G.
If I was Chris Pratt or Dan Forrester in this movie, I'd be like, oh, thank God this dude's here. Thank you so much. Because this dude was a G.
He carries it. He does so much.
He really
and,
does. He's like the unsung hero of this movie, even though he's doing a bunch of badass shit. But before we move along, I don't like, this person didn't really do that much in this movie. And I think that's testament to how good he actually is. Getting back to Sam Richardson.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. I've never heard of this guy. And he is fucking brilliant. I know I've come to learn that he's a writer, comedy writer.
Yeah, and he was on what was
He's
that
on Veep.
movie? Yo, he was so good on
I didn't
Veep,
watch
dude.
Veep, and he was also on We're the Millers as well. So I got to go back and he played the TSA agent in that. If you're familiar with that movie, I've seen it, but I don't remember the part.
So good.
But he's like one of my favorites now, man. He just needs to have his. I think it's coming. He will get his own movie. And
oh, dude, this is his weekend.
in a way, he kind of did, actually. Yeah, he did have a very fantastic weekend. I think he's happy.
Oh,
I'm sure he's sitting at home right now very content.
No, also that pool was not deep enough for that to happen.
Dude is falling towards the cement and then just suddenly goes, whoop, and that's all.
Into like a pool that's 8 feet deep. I was like, come on, guys. But other than that, I was like, whatever. But I will say the funniest part for me and this is not a spoiler, there's a part where Sam Richardson starts stuttering. Yeah. And it goes on for just long enough where I'm just like, were they really going to put that in the movie, or were they just like, we can't cut this? That was hilarious.
Dude sounds like me on a busy editing day. He was going, huh?
It was so freaking good. So yeah, check out Warp tomorrow. I really enjoyed it. And that's from someone who gets annoyed by Chris Pratt. This was a good movie.
I had a feeling you would like it. I didn't want to know until today, but I'm like, yeah, he liked this one. I just know
it was
he
a
did.
good movie, dude. It was
you
good.
call bullshit when necessary, and there was no reason to call it on this one.
Oh, and the gore, perfect, right up my alley.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, and the Queen. Anyway,
For sure, the Queen was dope too. Oh my god,
she was freaking amazing.
All right, let's cap this up here, man. Werewolves Within. This movie is started this week, and it's playing in theaters somewhere. I wish I knew where. And it's also on VOD, which is good for you people because it's a pretty cheap movie. I think, what was it? $6.99?
Yeah,
$6.99.
Yeah.
We got on Apple TV. $6.99. You can rent this movie. I would pay $10.99 for this one. I mean, I'm giving you a spoiler.
Whoa.
Let's go with this here. Werewolves Within. I saw a trailer for this movie probably, I don't know, a month or two ago. And then I kind of forgot about it, even though I remember going, man, this looks good. Like, this just looks like it's going to be, it's like a comedy, but it's also a horror movie. It's a feature adaptation of a video game. Did you know that, Steve?
I did. I have the video game. I play it.
Do you really? Oh, okay.
I do.
Is it worth playing?
Very fun. It's one of those where like, hey, this just happened. What do you want to do? Do you want to go into this room, or do you want to do and it changes the game as you're going?
This movie is
super fun.
I can't compare the two, but for some reason, and I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me on this, I was getting like Knives Out vibes on this movie.
Absolutely no question. Right? Also, Your Next.
Yes.
I was getting Your Next vibes
for sure. Too. Yeah. And it's also, this could be a play. The way that it's
dude, I would watch this play.
For sure, yeah. This movie, I'm just going to tell you, folks, spoilers, this movie fucking rules.
It really does.
It really does. So much, man. Again,
it's so good.
Yeah, again, we're talking about Sam Richardson, who plays Finn Wheeler in this movie, who is a park ranger that is brought to this town because there's and there's also some little political things that are going on in this one that made me chuckle.
Oh, it's so smart.
Really made me chuckle.
Little things they do, I'm like, oh, I know who that couple is.
Exactly, yeah. So to kind of put it into perspective, there's a pipeline that is being built through this town, and And Finn Wheeler, played by Sam Richardson, is brought in to oversee what's going on. There's a I don't know if he's the CEO, but he's the guy that's like, spearheading this whole thing. And he's there trying to talk people into selling their property so they can build this thing with no trouble. And there's just this amazing cast of characters in this little town. One of them is Milana, I think it's Weintraub. I've always known her.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I love her, first of all. I'm just going to tell you.
Love her,
G? Okay, anyway. Okay. Hold on, what was I saying? I forgot about her. She's the AT&T girl. And
T-Mobile, I think.
No, it's AT&T.
Is she AT&T?
AT&T.
I thought she was T-Mobile this whole time.
No, AT&T.
She's good, dude.
Yes, she is, sir.
And a great stand-up.
Yeah. Oh, really? I can see that,
Yeah.
actually. She seems like she has comedic timing when you watch this movie.
No
It's
question.
just on display. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this, folks. I think I'm going to buy this movie.
I might too.
I think this one is going to be one that I come back to. It's so charming. The characters are fantastic. It's funny. Like, I laughed a lot in this movie. And it's not really set up to, I guess it is a comedy. Like I said, it's like a play, but there's some horrific shit going on in this one, man.
Oh, for sure, dude.
And like I said, I gave reference to Knives Out. It's a total mystery. It's a whodunit. It's a cast of people that are in a there's not very many sets to this movie. There's not a lot of external shots in this one. There are some external shots, but most of this is shot indoors on like one of 3 different sets, I think. And they utilize every square foot of these sets. They do it beautifully. The comedy is just it's so on point. And like I said, Sam Richardson and frickin' Milana Weintraub, they play so well off of each other. Like, I would love to see them do more movies together. They're that good.
They were that. It was just nope. Finish up, go ahead.
Well, we could talk about some things, but I will just say I think I'm going to give this one. I'm going to give this one a 4.25 out of 5 dog collars.
Let me tell you something about this movie, ladies and gentlemen. This might be my favorite movie this year so far.
It is one of the funnest movies I've seen this year. 100%.
I'm talking about every time a scene was happening, I smiled at some point.
I'm upgrading to 4.5, by the way.
There's a part where the girl's just saying language in the background. And people are like, language. And I'm just like, I'm laughing at that. I think that's funny. And then Joaquin with an M.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're laughing at it. That's why. This is made for a specific group of people that are going to find this movie freaking maddeningly hilarious. And then there's little things like how Sam Richardson reacts to people talking. His mannerisms. I can't get enough of it, dude. His weird reactions. I just said, I can watch this guy do anything. And there is legit a point in this movie where I did not know who was the bad person.
Yeah, that's what I told Gail, because she really liked it too. And I'm like, because she's really, really good about figuring out the movies. Almost to a point where it's like, don't stop, will you? Because I want to figure this out for myself. But she was just like, I'm not sure. I thought I knew.
Yeah, who knows?
I thought I knew for a second. And then
but then there's a part where everyone kind of was like, oh, everyone's nuts. So
yeah.
I think anyone could be it, bro. Even that couple, the trailer couple, I could have watched them.
They were great.
They cracked me up. They were,
there's a couple lines that dude says, and I just had me in tears. It's so funny.
I was like, that dude definitely has rap music. No question. Randomly has every NWA album in his He was so funny, dude.
So was
and then
I'm sorry, I was going to say so is Harvey Guillen, who is he plays Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
the gay couple.
I didn't know that was him.
Yeah. He's awesome in this.
Oh, he's amazing in this.
Everyone is. There's not
Joaquin.
There is not one bad player in this entire cast.
Not a single freaking. And normally I know what's going to happen at the end of a movie. This one surprised me. And then afterwards I said, I should have known that was the person that whatever. Because there was a point in this movie where I thought they were going to pull a shenanigan, which I would have been fine with. Where kind of like, we're all monsters. I was like, oh, well, I'm fine with that. I'm totally cool with that. I'm good with that. they wound this cool tale, and every character in the tale is just like, they look like the person they're playing. They look like them. I'm like, yep, that's them. And I love how when he's getting introduced to everyone, we're also getting introduced to everyone so that they don't have to do anything else. They're like, here's a reason for this guy to get introduced so that we don't have to do any exposition. Here is everyone in town you need to know. And I'm like, I love this movie. Within 4 minutes, I know everybody.
Yep.
We're good. And then I love how he's listening to us. There's a part where what he's listening to on the radio on the way into town. I know people that listen to those tapes. I know people who listen to those tapes, and like, they do the whole breathing through your balls thing. And I thought it was so funny because it's just, I can't even say, I don't want you guys to be spoiled.
Yeah.
What I'm about to go overboard, people. I am about to go.
Come on now.
A little bit overboard and give this movie a 4.5 out of 5 ruin generators.
Yeah, man. I had to upgrade because it really is that good. I've seen some pretty damn good movies this year, and I'm sort of infamous for being like, oh, this is one of the best movies I've seen this year, just because it's like the newest one I've watched, but then I'll go back and I might change my mind. Werewolves Within is just fun as hell. It is so it's just so smartly written, and this cast is lovable. Love them or hate them, you still love them. I mean, it's just this.
Absolutely.
They're fantastic, and it's like in that vein. Like I said, it's in the vein of, like, say, Reservoir Dogs, or oh god, what was the other one that we just watched that was with Aya Cash? It's a play movie. This movie could be
Scary Story. Not Scary.
You know
Stories.
the one I'm talking about.
Yes, Scared. I forgot.
I know. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
It's a bad reference for me on my part. My bad. There you go. Like, I'm bringing it back around again. See what I did there?
Nice call.
Thank you very much. But yeah, it's just I don't want to call it a perfect movie, but it is the funnest movie that I've seen recently. And when it comes time to, like, choose top 10, I have a feeling there's no question that this movie will be in it. It is fantastic.
No.
Werewolves Within. It is this hidden gem that it's a kind of like a blink and you miss it kind of movie. If you're not someone that is, actively looking for movies to rent, on VOD, or maybe you're lucky enough to have this in your town and you might pass by the marquee and be like, I don't know what that is. But if you like Werewolves, you're going to go check it out, right? This is just one that you're going to find yourself pleasantly surprised, way more than you were expecting. And you're just going to have a smile on your face the entire time. That fucking good. Great movie.
Question, too. And the funny part is, like, when you... there's a part in this movie, here's when I knew it was going to be smart. There's a thing, this guy is like... this guy says, never the left. And he said, I like you already. And they both were like, did not mean it like that. I said, this movie's going to be, this movie is going to be, because it was such a throwaway line that if you caught it, you caught it. But if you didn't, you're like, whatever. Bro, when that throwaway line happened, I said, this movie's going to be smart as hell.
And without getting into that couple, because I just think that if you're paying attention, there's so many little jokes that you're going to miss. Like, if I watch this movie again, I'm going to catch another joke. But
no question.
Did you catch the name of the dog?
What was his name?
Chachi.
Oh my God.
I was like, that's so fucking perfect. That is so
How
perfect.
Smart is that, dude?
I'm telling you.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, I laughed.
But you have to go a few levels deep to even understand what that's...
You got to be paying attention. And, I imagine that I don't imagine anyone in our audience is going to feel this way, but I'm sure there's some person out there that's going to be like, I'm going to stop watching this movie right now because of this particular couple.
Yep. That's what the director wants you to do.
Sure.
Fine.
Peace
Fine.
out. See you later.
Because it's for a specific, and I was wondering why this movie, because we had both seen people being like, oh, it's coming because this is a good, I was like, man, people are really looking forward to this, where a certain crew, a certain circle was really looking forward to this movie. And that circle is like people that normally I like their movies and what they do. And for this circle to be like, oh, you guys are in for some kind of treat. They were right. They knew what they were watching was special. And I have a feeling this is going to be something where, like, if someone comes over and I'm like, wait a minute, have you ever seen Werewolves Within? And they're like, I don't really do horror movies. I'm like, oh, don't trip. This is the movie for you then. this is the movie for you because it's not a horror movie. It's a fantastic movie that happens to have a root in horror. You're going to love it. I would even put this on before You're Next. If they don't do horror, I'm like, oh, that's a little bit too much. This is perfect for them.
This movie is going to fall in, for me, it is a gold standard of a certain type of genre. Totally. Where it comes to comedy horror. There's been some great ones that we've talked about on this show, but this is definitely top tier.
Gold standard.
For sure.
But they had such beasts. And like when you get those people, Michaela, I forgot her last name. Michaela. I forgot her last name.
Milena?
No, her name is her real name is it Michaela Milena?
Oh, Michaela Watkins.
Dude, when I saw that she was just a support character, I'm like, this is going to be. Like for her to read this script and be like, I'm in. You know it's about to be a thing. Mm-hmm. It is all of these folks that are in this movie brought their A games. People, if you have a chance. If I would have spent $20 on this movie, I would not be mad right now. I wouldn't be upset. I'd be like, it was expensive, but holy crap. What a good movie that was. So yes, go watch it. Absolutely. It gets the Heroes of Noise cosign for sure. No question.
Absolutely, man. And I'm going to go ahead and say it was pick of the week too.
Oh, for sure.
We've seen some good shit this weekend, for sure. But
for sure.
This for me was I have to say that Tomorrow War and this one were my highlights for sure.
Oh, no question.
This one,
that's what I'm saying. It was a good weekend, and it still stood out.
Yeah, fantastic. And I've had 3 days off. It just really doesn't get any better than this, folks. I'm happy. Maybe that's why. Maybe I'm being nicer because I've had some time to rest. Just kidding. Check this movie out. It is phenomenal.
You're working tomorrow, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. Oh, I got to go back sometime.
Oh, but you're getting double time.
Nope.
I talked to someone about that. I think you anyway, so dude, this was a great show. What a fantastic show today.
I'm glad we did it, Steve. And it's the 4th of July. You know what we didn't do this year? Maybe it's because we're trying to be nicer people. We didn't go off on the firework users this year. I feel like we left something out, but I'm going to leave it there.
They're Satan.
Okay, there we go.
So there we go.
In a word, y'all are Satan.
They are Satan, dude. Like last night I became 40, how old I am. 40. What am I, 43 or 42? Anyway.
I believe you're 42. But see, that just means you're in your 40s because you're forgetting.
I forgot! But I became 42 where I was just like, yeah, these people are like out of nowhere, Dan, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You hear a poof. I'm like, oh, that wasn't that loud. And then it gets to the sky. Pow! I'm like, of course. Why not, huh? No one has pets or anything. Idiots. Anyway.
Yeah, we finally found the right medication for my dog. So we gave her, because they start early in this neighborhood. So we gave her a pill last night, and she was like, just gone. She was cool, man. She was like totally fine with it. Just bring on the booms. So listen, it doesn't really matter what my dog did. Just take care of your pets. Don't leave your gates open.
Dude.
Tonight's crazy. Listen, I do like fireworks. I do like to watch the explosions in the sky and stuff like that. But if you live in a neighborhood like mine, shit just gets ridiculous after a certain point. Too many mortars. Maybe it's because we live in California and all this shit's illegal, but it's insane. So just take care of your pets. Don't blow your hands off. Don't do that kind of stuff. I don't mean to be the old guy, but guess what? I'm the old guy. I'm a little on the fence about 4th of July these days.
Well, I'm sure you've seen some injuries from 4th of July.
Nothing too crazy because it would all go to a trauma center.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
They see the wonderful fingers.
When fingers are gone, it goes to the trauma center.
Gee, and here's what I'd watch. I am so bad at firework users that I would watch a movie where all the animals, all of a sudden, like something happens where some sort of mist comes down and it turns them into super massive man-eating beasts, and they only go out and kill on 4th of July the people using fireworks.
If they smell sulfur.
They roam the street. Oh, it would be perfect.
They smell the sulfur
I'd be like,
on your
yes! Oh, it would be the best thing because I am tired of fireworks. It's the dumbest. It's just stupid. There's no point.
I'll be honest with you. I enjoy looking at them, but now that my dog has taken to almost having a damn heart attack every single time this happens, and then it goes on throughout the week of the 4th.
Yes,
it's just
dude.
Too much, man. But I mean, maybe that just makes it sound old. I know some people are just into your fireworks, and believe me, I get it. But in my case,
get off my lawn.
I just can't do it anymore. Get off my fucking lawn.
Get off my freaking lawn. That's going to be my new thing. But anyway, I love you guys. The next voice you're going to hear is Dan the Man. Please be careful. If you're using fireworks, just really consider, if you lose a hand, will you look back on that firework and say that it was worth it? If not, don't do it. Love y'all. Peace.
That would have been a really good rating too, man, is 4 out of 5 lost hands. 4.5 out of 5 lost hands.
That was a gruesome
That was
scene,
pretty
too.
awesome.
It looked pretty good. I was impressed.
All right, people. Happy 4th of July. Maybe you'll get this on the 5th. I'm going to try to get it to you on the 4th, okay? Because, you know, I'm just sitting around doing nothing, eating pulled pork and shit. We love you. We are the Heroes of Noise. My name is Dan Ramirez. That is Steve Hudson. Y'all be good to yourselves. Be good to the people around you. Peace.